The Army just pushed a major clarity pass of the Army Regulation 670-1 via Army Directive 2025-18. This video is a quick way of getting left of any corrections, keep your team clean at formation, and avoid avoidable flags. Check this out. Here's the deal. Leaders across the force have been fighting interpretation drift on nails, hair, body composition, earrings, you name it. The new directive consolidates and clarifies. It applies to all three compos: regular Army, Army National Guard, and the Army Reserves. The standard is the standard. Sergeant Major the Army Weimer framed the problem bluntly. The force was frustrated with the ambiguous language and hard to enforce standards. The update removes ambiguity so we can be consistent, according to the press comment of the Pentagon Media Roundtable. Now, throughout this video, I'm gonna have many full screens with a bunch of information. I recommend that you just take screenshots, save it to your camera roll. That way you can share it with your peers and your soldiers. So here are 4 highlights of what actually changed. Fewer images, more exact language, measurements in inches and millimeters, commanders in force supported by NCO chain, on-the-spot corrections are expected at every echelon. Appearance is tied to discipline and readiness. Everyone gets smart and compliant within 30 days of the directive date. After that, inspections and counseling reflect the current standard. For hair and hairstyling, for the male, hair colors are expected to be professional, have a natural appearance, blended, subtle, and no extreme contrast. So much for my frosted tips. For styling, we're looking at tapered or fade starting at skin or 1/4 inch at the sides and around the ears. Bulk at the top gotta be less than 2 inches. Bulk at the sides gotta be less than 1 inch. Hair will not fall over the ears. Shaved heads are still authorized. When it comes to parting, if your hair naturally parts, that's still authorized. If not, you may cut a single straight line or a gently curved part 1/8 of an inch wide, aligning with the natural hairline. No lines, no braids or twists. For designs, no shapes, words, or cut designs in hair or scalp. For the neckline, only shaved or closely cut hair may touch the collar. Hairstyles cannot distort the fit of protective equipment or authorized headgear. Here's an example of what's in and what's out. Low fade with less than 2 inch bulk on the top, 1 inch bulk on the sides, single 1/8 inch cut or natural line part, and the headgear fits snug. What's out? 3 inch bulk on top, etched design, high bulk that pushes the patrol cap. So basically everything's gotta fit nice and tight. Now I know in recent times there's been some really funky fades that come down to the side of the head and doesn't go naturally all the way around, like this example. According to this new standard, that's no longer authorized. I question if that was authorized to begin with, because that kind of fits on the fattish hairstyle. That was never cool. When it comes to haircuts and hairstyles for women, in general, the techniques encompasses the whole scalp. Bangs no longer than mid-forehead, no minimum hair length, shaved heads are authorized for females. When it comes to hair colors, it's pretty much the same as males: professional, neutral appearance, and blended. For the buns, centered on the back of the head, max 3 inches from the scalp and no wider than the head width. The bottom of the bun must be at or above the collar. Ponytails are authorized in ACUs or APFUs only. Single unbraided ponytails, neat and secured. Bulk must not exceed the head width. The length has got to be less than 6 inches from the top of the collar. Minimum length is 1 inch from the base of the holder. That's where the actual thing holds the hair. It's got to be centered on the back of the head, aligned with the ear height when viewed from the side. No ponytails with any dress uniform. For braids, locks, twists, and cornrows, it got to be uniform in width and style. Gathered into braids or a single ponytail for a cohesive appearance. Up to 2 braids running down the center of the back, parallel and equal, are authorized. Each braid less than 2 inches wide and 6 inches long when measured from the top of the collar. And once again, no braids or ponytails with a dress uniform. Now for the hairstyles that are short on the side and longer on the top, they're still authorized if blended into the sides and the back. The top's gotta be less than 2 inches in length when measured from the scalp. No stark disconnects. Also, there are no buns, braids, twists, or ponytails combined with the taper faded style. Shaping and cutting designs are prohibited. Now this is probably one of the most challenging part about female hairdos, is that devices, they gotta be discreet, neutral looking, less than 1/2 inch in thickness, and it's gotta match the hair color. Scrunchies, barrettes, combs, pins, clips, rubber bands, hair headbands are authorized if they conform to the natural head shape. Here are some quick examples of what's in and what's out for female hair standards. In is center bun, less than 3 inches in depth, single ACU ponytails, less than 6 inches in length, 2 uniform braids, less than 2 inches wide. What's out is braided ponytails with dress uniforms, asymmetrical undercut, 3+ inches wide braids, ponytails below collar or exceeding head width. When it comes to cosmetics, it's prohibited for males, except for medically exempt items like clear lip balm. For female cosmetics, the regulation authorizes for professional, conservative makeup that matches the natural complexion to establish an even skin tone. No tattoo cover makeup. Semi-permanent makeup are authorized if it meets uniform professional standards. When it comes to nail policy for females, clear nail polish only. Fingernails a 1/4 inch beyond fingertips, squared or rounded in shape. Nail policy for males, no nail polish. Nails may not exceed past the fingertips. For earrings, men are prohibited. Women, studs only, gold, silver, diamond, pearl, up to 6 millimeters or a 1/4 inch in diameter. Now let's break it down. The body composition. The directive refines the ABCP administration to keep focus on readiness, performance, and professional appearance, and to avoid overly long retention in the program. Expect alignment with AR 600-9 and administrative synchronization to prevent lag. Now, to be honest, in most units, ABCP rarely apply, although it should be applied more frequently. Now it just becomes a logistics issue. Now, with anything else, the expectation is that the NCO support channel supports the commander in enforcement. On-the-spot corrections are authorized and expected. Now, what the directive also said is that we shouldn't rely on eyeballing and guessing, is that we should be measuring to ensure that we're meeting these standards. As Sergeant Major of the Army Weimer puts it, those little things absolutely matter. If you can't do that in peacetime garrison, I'm really worried about what you're not going to be able to do in a combat situation. Now, when it comes to enforcing these policy clarifications, the team leaders are truly going to be the MVPs. If it looks off and you want to do on-the-spot correction, measure it. Now, if you think this video is helpful to you or your formation, drop a comment down below with some of the craziest stuff you've seen across the force. I would love to engage with you, and let's continue this conversation.